After being in love for 7 years, Ava and I were going to get married. I was enthusiastically decorating the wedding venue, but unexpectedly, I had a conflict with someone over the venue. The carefully prepared venue was occupied by others. I complained to Ava unhappily, but she interrupted me mercilessly. "Aren't you annoying? It's just a venue. If this venue doesn't work, we can just change to another one." I looked at Ava in shock, somewhat puzzled by her sudden attitude. She didn't take the initiative to contact me again, and every time I took the initiative, all I got was a reply that she was busy. Until 10 days before the wedding, I went to her office to find her. Her voice came from the room. "Ethan, I promise that all the guests will be at this venue on the wedding day, and there will only be a groom on his side. I haven't changed the address on the invitation." I stood there in shock. It turned out that it wasn't a conflict over the venue but a conflict over the bride. I returned home in a state of despair. On the way, I absent-mindedly bumped into countless pedestrians. "Are you crazy? Can't you watch where you're going? Could he be a fool? So annoying. Are you blind? If you don't want your eyes, donate them." When I heard these words, my body stiffened, and I laughed self-deprecatingly. Yes, I was blind. A look of shock flashed in that person's eyes, and he walked past me without saying a word. Perhaps he misunderstood, but I didn't want to explain. The rain poured down in torrents, instantly soaking me through, but I didn't feel it at all. The cold water droplets slid down my face in the middle of the night. As expected, I had a fever. In a daze, I received a call. "Lucas, can you come to the Oral Club and bring me some hangover pills? I've been drunk by these people." I froze and instinctively got up to look for the hangover pills. When I came to my senses, I quickly stopped my actions. "Sorry, I have a fever and can't go." The person on the other end seemed a bit shocked, and there were cheers in the background. "Ava, you lost. It seems that you have to buy the hangover pills for me yourself." The voice sounded somewhat familiar. It was Ethan. I sneered, and the other end quickly hung up the phone. In the middle of the night, Ava came home, reeking of alcohol. She dragged me out of bed while I was sound asleep. "Are you out of your mind? I was being forced to drink by my sisters, and you made excuses, and didn't go to bring me the hangover pills. Do you still have me, your fiancé, in your heart?" The strong smell of alcohol made my mind a bit clearer. I held my forehead and tried my best to steady myself. I said, "I have a fever." Under this solemn emphasis, Ava finally took a serious look at me. My flushed cheeks were enough to explain the situation. She was silent for a moment and said softly, "Sorry, I'll go sleep in the study." I sneered and fell back onto the bed. I couldn't fall asleep now. There were sounds of teasing coming from the next room. It was a bit noisy. I didn't sleep all night. Ava walked out of the study with Ethan looking refreshed. The moment she saw me, Ava's smile froze. She instinctively distanced herself from Ethan. "Good morning. The party ended too late yesterday, and Ethan didn't bring his keys, so I brought him home." I nodded and walked towards the door. Sidestepping, Ava grabbed my wrist, and I looked at her in confusion. She stammered, "Where are you going? Shouldn't we go see the wedding dress today?" I was stunned for a moment, then turned around and laughed. "Why don't you two go and take a look? I have something to deal with at the company." Ava seemed to heave a sigh of relief, and her smile became more genuine. "Well, Ethan has always had good taste. He will definitely make us satisfied." I naturally agreed. I informed the relatives and friends on the bride's side about changing the venue, and then I informed the relatives and friends on my side that the wedding was cancelled. Only then did I turn off my phone. I didn't want to explain one by one. Then I went to apply for a passport. I had already obtained the qualification for overseas study a long time ago, but because of the sweetness I expected during the newlywed period, I didn't want to be separated from Ava for too long, so I put it on hold for the time being. Now that the wedding couldn't go on, I definitely couldn't give up this opportunity for study. However, the moment I came out, I saw Ava and Ethan walking out of the Civil Affairs Bureau next door. There were smiles on their faces. The moment we looked at each other, everyone froze. "Why are you here?" To prevent Ava from asking questions, I took the initiative. Ava's body paused for a moment, and her eyes instinctively avoided mine. Ethan reached out and put his hand on Ava's elbow. He was beaming with pride. Ava accompanied me to take care of some business. I glanced at him indifferently. "Congratulations." Ava wanted to catch up and explain something, but she reached out and grabbed nothing. "Lucas." I didn't stop and quickened my pace. In the evening, Ava came back with Ethan again. I looked at the two of them calmly. "Do you want me to give up the master bedroom to you? The study probably can't accommodate both of you, right?" This sentence seemed to hit Ava's sore spot. Her face turned ugly. "Lucas, do you have to be so sarcastic? How have you become like this, reacting like a shrew?" I found it a bit ridiculous. It seemed that I hadn't said or done anything, yet the label of a shrew had already been put on me. I pointed at my head and smiled. I've been given so many labels that I don't even know which one is the most appropriate. Ava felt a bit uncomfortable for a moment. Soon, she slapped me in the face. "Am I being too nice to you? Don't forget, this is my home. You eat, drink, and live off me, and you still talk to me so sarcastically. Get out of here. She pushed me towards the door. She didn't even give me a chance to get my phone. My face changed, and when I came to my senses, I had already been locked out of the house. Ava, give me my phone. I banged on the door frantically, but the door never opened again. It was still chilly in autumn. I rubbed my arms, and some goosebumps appeared. Although this was the place where I grew up, at this moment I was homeless, penniless, and alone. I could only choose to walk to the company. By the time I reached the company, I was completely exhausted and collapsed. I fell asleep on the desk. Until the next morning, with the help of my colleagues in the company, I bought a new phone, and then I dialed Ava's number. She didn't answer the phone. Ethan's voice came from the receiver. Ava, it's a call from an unknown number. Ava seemed a bit impatient. If you don't know who it is, just hang up. Ethan didn't hang up in the end. He probably guessed that it was me. Ava, should we go and apologize to Brother Lucas? After all, he's a man, and he values his dignity. A calculating woman pretending to be innocent, that's how I evaluated her. I chuckled. It was a rather clumsy trick, but Ava's words still made me freeze in place. Why should I care about him anyway? He has nowhere else to go in this city. He doesn't even have a phone in his hand. He'll give in to me in no time. The other end hung up the phone. I stood there, stunned, not coming back to my senses. So she knew. I smiled bitterly. I thought my heart wouldn't be affected anymore. But at this moment, it was still throbbing with pain. I decisively dialed the number again. Why are you calling again? Didn't you hear what I just said? Ethan's impatient voice came through. Don't you know how pathetic you are, sticking to Ava like a piece of chewing gum? I didn't care about Ethan's various attacks. I smiled faintly. Let's meet. I have something I want to give you. Ethan was a bit suspicious. After hesitating for a moment, he still agreed. Let's meet at the South City Cafe. I hung up the phone and set off decisively. The appointed time came, but Ethan didn't show up at the South City Cafe as promised. Lucas, are you trying to bully Ethan again? I've already told you that there's nothing between me and Ethan. Why are you still causing trouble for him? Ava's impatient voice rang out. Then came a fierce slap. My cheek burned with pain. I laughed sarcastically and looked at Ava, feeling extremely unfamiliar with her. Beating someone without finding out the truth first is that the upbringing of your Ava family. Ava's face turned extremely ugly. She pursed her lips, seemingly not knowing how to refute. But since Ethan didn't come, I didn't need to give away the thing in my hand. If I really wanted to cause trouble for him, would I call you? Do you think I could have guessed that he would answer your phone? That's ridiculous. I stepped forward, approaching Ava. Her face became uglier and uglier, and she stepped back repeatedly. I just felt bored and turned around to leave. Ava didn't look for me again, but the wedding was getting closer and closer. Just one day before the original wedding date, she kindly brought me a watch. There was no packaging, no box, just a bare, dull-looking watch. Watch, don't you like this watch? The most I bought it back for you. I suddenly found it a bit ridiculous. I looked up at Ava seriously and said, if you think I would cherish a second-hand watch that should have been mine but was snatched away by Ethan, then you underestimate me too much. Ava felt a bit guilty. Her face turned extremely red. She held herself up and said through gritted teeth, why are you being so unreasonable? You've already got the thing you like the most, and I'm by your side. What else are you not satisfied with? After tomorrow, we'll be husband and wife. I gave her a half-smile and didn't have much to say. I see, I said, this plain sentence, and turned to leave. Where have you been staying these days? Your ID card is also at home. You wouldn't. She suddenly spoke up and instinctively grabbed me. For a moment, I felt a bit embarrassed. Anger welled up in my heart. I shook Ava off violently. There was indescribable pain in my eyes. Ava, since you knew I had nowhere to go, why did you kick me out? Could it be that you really? She avoided my gaze and seemed a bit guilty? At that moment, she turned her head away and said, I thought you would show weakness to me within half a day. At this moment, I was tired. Forget it. I didn't want to pay attention to her anymore and strode forward. However, downstairs at the company, an uninvited guest had already been waiting for me. Lucas, I turned around instinctively and saw Ethan. You received the watch, right? This can be regarded as a little compensation from me and Ava to you. Don't you like it the most? I looked at Ethan and saw that on his hand was the eye of the ocean, which was worth hundreds of millions at the recent auction. Sensing my gaze, Ethan held his head up proudly and ran his hand over the watch. Ava said, you liked that watch, so we exchanged it with the eye of the ocean. His tone was somewhat ridiculous. It's just rubbish. You can keep it for yourself. Ethan instantly exploded. He was furiously angry out of helplessness. I ignored him. The next day, I embarked on a journey abroad. I ignored those crazy people who were calling like mad dogs Ethan and Ava. Before boarding the plane, a great force threw me hard to the ground. You abandoned the wedding just to go abroad. Ethan, dressed in a suit and wedding attire, had tears in his eyes and looked pitiful. As for Ava, she was even more furious. At that moment, I glanced at their outfits and felt a bit awkward for no reason. There was a lot of inexplicable dirt on their bodies, as if they had been splashed with something. TSK, wasn't this the wedding? You two dreamed of what? Can't the wedding go on without me? Ethan seemed to think of something and pressed on me like a madman. Do you know that you've ruined me? If it weren't for you, I would be the happiest groom today. A sharp pain came from my neck. The feeling of suffocation hit me. Ava beside me looked at me with a complicated expression and showed no sign of coming to help. After a while, finally, the security guards noticed my predicament at the moment. What are you doing? If you continue, we'll call the police. Several security guards rushed over and pulled Ethan off me. I instantly let out a sigh of relief. I thanked the security guards and then rushed towards the ticket gate. I boarded the plane as quickly as possible. The moment I turned on my phone, my friend Sophia's call came through. Lucas, you weren't at the scene today, so you have no idea how embarrassing the situation was. All the guests were stood up, and there was no one at the wedding venue. Ava's father was so angry that he called Ava over. As a result, the matter of changing the groom was exposed on the spot, and Ava and Ethan got a good beating. I couldn't help but laugh when I heard this. I had expected this situation. Ava's father cared most about face and couldn't tolerate the matter of changing the groom on the spot to please the mistress at all. I laughed and said, I saw how embarrassed they were. Ethan even wanted to kill me, but the security guard stopped him. Sophia was shocked. Her repeated concern made my heart warm. But it's a pity I didn't come to this city specifically to watch the joke. I just wanted to see you. I felt silent. I felt a bit uncomfortable for a moment. Sorry. Sophia seemed to laugh and then said, Don't worry, we're all good friends. I just hope you'll be happy. Once you're settled down, I'll come and see you. The moment I hung up the phone, the sense of loss of being in a foreign country suddenly welled up. But without those annoying people around, life was quite peaceful. Half a year later, old friends whom I hadn't seen for a long time sent me messages, one after another, to greet me. This strange situation surprised me a bit, but when I carefully inquired, I couldn't get any news. It was pouring heavily outside the window, and my heart couldn't calm down either. Bang, bang, bang. The violent knocking on the door made me shiver. I walked towards the door cautiously, my voice trembling a bit. Who is it? Looking through the peephole, I didn't see anyone. In an instant, my hair stood on end. All kinds of speculations rose in my heart. Open the door. I want to go home. A familiar voice almost made my soul fly away. It was Ava. This isn't your home? Get lost, I said in a rough voice, viciously. I had tried my best to change my tone of voice and didn't even speak in my mother tongue. The person outside was still excited. Lucas, it's you, isn't it? I know it's you. This is your voice. I've come to find you. Let's be together all the time. Okay. Ava's voice was full of excitement. I didn't say anything and just sat by the door in the room. To be honest, I didn't want Ava to appear in my life. After a whole night passed, I thought she would leave. But the moment I went out the next day, a heavy body fell on me. She was extremely hot all over, obviously having been caught in the rain all night. Lucas, I miss you so much. Her voice was so weak that I could hardly hear what she said. Out of humanitarianism, I had to take a leave of absence and take care of Ava at home. At noon, she woke up. Her voice was weak, and she seemed a bit unsteady on her feet. The moment she got up, she almost fell to the ground. I pursed my lips and casually handed her a cup of boiling water. I didn't care if she would get burned. I heard Ava hissing in pain. I chuckled and felt a bit pleased in my heart. Why are you looking at me? After drinking the water and bringing down the fever, you can get out of here quickly. You're not welcome here, I said coldly, sensing her veiled gaze. At this moment, Ava fell silent. She smiled bitterly, and there was only helplessness left in her eyes. As soon as she tried to get up, she swayed and almost fell. I ignored her. It was only when she really fell to the ground that I said in a deep voice, I'm not heartless. You can stay, but it's 10,000 yuan a day. If you're willing to spend this money, just pretend I didn't say anything. Ava's eyes lit up. Without saying a word, she transferred 1 million yuan to me. I'll stay for 100 days first. My face darkened, but since I had already said it, I couldn't take it back. I gritted my teeth and said, fine. Instantly, she didn't seem to have any backache or leg pain anymore. She stood up energetically. My face turned even darker, and I said, in a deep voice, What, are you all better now? Her smile froze, and she sat on the bed stiffly, saying awkwardly, I'm not better yet. It's just that people are in high spirits when something good happens. I got up decisively, packed my suitcase, and walked outside. What are you doing? She was probably a bit panicked and grabbed my wrist. A hint of confusion flashed in my eyes. Don't you want to stay here? I'm going to stay somewhere else. Otherwise, do you think this shabby place can accommodate 2 people? There was only 1 bed. Our relationship wasn't close enough for us to sleep in the same bed. She looked awkward and felt a bit guilty for a moment. Forget it. How could I let you go and stay somewhere else? This is your home. I'll just go out. I took out my phone and was about to return the 1 million yuan, but she stopped me. Keep it, just consider it, as Ava didn't finish her sentence and looked extremely depressed, but I didn't care about that. Since she let me stay, I might as well take it. Probably in the evening. Ava already proposed going to a hotel. She looked at me several times as if she wanted to say something but held back. I completely ignored her. She could only turn around and leave silently. In the next month, she was like a piece of chewing gum sticking to me all the time. No matter how firmly I refused her, that day I was sure to see her again the next day. This scene really bothered me a great deal, until a month later when a bouquet of roses suddenly appeared on my desk. The moment the 999 roses showed up, I felt extremely uncomfortable all over. The classmates around me even looked at me with ambiguous eyes. I remained expressionless, even when the main character, Ava, appeared holding a diamond. I still didn't have a good look at my face. As soon as she knelt down on one knee, I slapped her across the face. Ava was stunned. Lucas, I sneered, reached out, and picked up the roses. Then I threw them at Ava. The moment I rolled up my sleeves, large patches of red rashes appeared on my arm. Wondering why, I said, "Look at this. I'm allergic to flower pollen, but I like roses. There are often roses at home, but they are fake ones." Ava was stunned for a moment. She said dully, "Sorry, I thought you liked real roses." I couldn't help but sneer. Ava might have developed feelings for me now, but after all, she never paid attention to me when we were together before. Even if she's trying to make up for it now, she still misses some details. I sneered and said, "Don't ever appear in front of me again. Besides, don't forget that you're married. We met at the Civil Affairs Bureau that day. You must have already gotten the marriage certificate, right? You failed to humiliate me, and now you're coming back to humiliate yourself." Ava hung her head at that moment, and she seemed to be immersed in her own world. I didn't care at all. Those who betray true feelings don't deserve to receive true feelings in return. The classmates around helped me throw the roses out. Ava walked out silently. I treated this episode as if it had never happened. I decisively put this matter aside. That night, Ava appeared again. She was still dressed the same way, but the roses in her arms had been replaced with fake ones. "Lucas, will you forgive me? I just wanted to—" My gaze paused, and I suddenly laughed. "You want to get back together?" I saw Ava's eyes light up. She nodded repeatedly, seemingly very eager. "You want me to be the other woman?" I looked at Ava with a serious expression. She finally realized where she had gone wrong, and her face instantly changed. She shook her head decisively. "No, it's over between me and Ethan. I filed for divorce." It seemed difficult for her to say these words. I was taken aback, and I didn't dwell on this matter anymore. I just looked at her seriously. "You want to get back together? Sure, you can court me. If you can forgive the things I do in the coming period, then we can be together again." Ava was overjoyed and became extremely excited. "Okay, I will definitely perform well." Looking at her innocent appearance at the moment, I couldn't help but smile sarcastically. I didn't think she could hold on. Early the next morning, Ava specially bought Chinese-style breakfast and waited at the door of my house. I was taken aback and took her breakfast without any hesitation. After taking a few bites, I turned around and threw the rest out. "What is this stuff? It tastes terrible. I want to eat steamed buns and drink soy milk, not this." I frowned slightly and said unhappily. Ava didn't get angry. "Wait here, I'll go buy it for you." Before she could leave, I spoke first. "Wait a minute, William said he would accompany me to visit Professor Daniel today. Bring William a serving of Chinese-style breakfast too. Token of gratitude." I glanced at Ava, her hand trembled. It seemed that she could barely stand it. I thought she would lose her temper, but I miscalculated. She didn't show any sign of getting angry at all. She just turned around, caught a car, and went to buy breakfast. I went straight to find William, completely ignoring Ava, who had gone to buy breakfast. By the time she rushed over, William and I were already having our meal. Ava looked a bit embarrassed. The breakfast in her hand kept shaking. Obviously, she was trembling. I ignored her and looked slightly annoyed. "So slow, we've already had our breakfast." She forced a smile. "It doesn't matter." She sat beside us and opened the breakfast one by one, but her hands were unsteady, and the steamed bun rolled on the ground. She silently picked up the steamed bun from the ground and ate it bite by bite, ignoring the dust on it. "Lucas, do you usually eat like this?" William seemed a bit incredulous, and his expression was hard to describe. I smiled and glanced at Ava. "No, this is about being thrifty. My friend has such a virtue." I saw tears on the steamed bun, but at the moment, I didn't want to stop my plan. There was even a secret excitement in my heart. Ava followed me around like a shadow. No matter what I did, she stuck close to me. I completely ignored her feelings and gave kisses on the cheeks to those classmates I chatted with. Sophia, who came to meet me in the bar, is a very beautiful woman. The moment she saw me, she hugged me tightly. Lucas, you've become even more handsome. But when her eyes landed on my abdomen and buttocks, they lit up instantly. Her hand involuntarily pinched my buttocks. God, Lucas, when did you get in such good shape? These abs, this perky butt. I want to sleep with you in my arms tonight. Her eyes were shining brightly. I smiled without hesitation. Sure. Sophia's hands didn't stay still. Ava beside me finally couldn't stand it anymore. You jerk, are you never satisfied with taking advantage? As she spoke, she grabbed Sophia and was about to punch her in the face. Sophia looked very annoyed. She turned around and pinned Ava down. I even shouted angrily, Ava, are you crazy? What's the difference between you now and a bitter woman? Ava froze. Her face looked a bit ugly. She took a deep breath to calm herself down. With red eyes, she said, sorry, I was meddling in other people's business. Can I wait at your door? I was shocked, and Sophia looked puzzled. Looking at Ava's serious expression, I was stunned for a moment. I was just about to refuse, but Sophia interrupted me. Sure, if you don't mind, of course you can. She raised her eyebrows and pulled me to the hotel. I turned my head to look at Ava. Her eyes were red, and her fists were tightly clenched. She followed in a flurry. I just felt it was ironic. Belated affection is cheaper than grass. That night, Sophia and I were laughing and joking in the room, and Ava outside the door was quiet, with no intention of leaving. It was not until I went out the next day that I saw Ava, dark circles under her eyes. She didn't sleep all night. Lucas, here's your breakfast. I made it myself. Ava looked at me nervously, her eyes showing some panic. What about mine? Sophia smiled, looking at Ava with a bit of provocation. Ava was obviously angry, but soon she came to her senses and said indifferently, yours is there. Western-style food. The Chinese food is for Lucas. Don't take it. Sophia laughed. She didn't take Ava's words to heart. She handed the breakfast to me first, and then ate the rest herself. Sophia, that was for Lucas. You eat the Western food. Ava's face looked ugly, and she tried to stop Sophia. I smiled and stepped forward. We grew up together since we were kids. What's wrong with me eating something of hers? Ava's body trembled. For a moment, as if she couldn't bear it, she ran out decisively. I let out a sigh of relief, looking at the person who ran out. Sophia couldn't help but laugh. If she really endured all this, would you really get back together with her? That person is a jerk. Even if you give her a chance to correct herself, I'm afraid she wouldn't even know how to do it. I shook my head, a hint of darkness flashing. In my eyes, looking towards the door, I couldn't help but laugh at myself. Do you really think she can hold on? How could that young lady possibly endure all these things? After all, even I am getting impatient. Sophia patted me affectionately and didn't say anything more, but at this moment, there were some sounds outside the door. Sophia and I walked out and saw Ava falling too. The ground her eyes were flickering when she saw me come out. She pursed her lips. Get up by yourself. Do you expect me to help you up? Ava's face changed slightly. She looked at Sophia and could only stand up reluctantly. In her hand was a piece of information. I know you were in urgent need of this information some time ago, but you couldn't find it anywhere. I had someone bring it to you. Her eyes were slightly red as she handed the thick stack of materials in her hand to me. Sophia looked at Ava warily. You didn't hear what we just said, did you? She looked at me deeply and didn't speak for a long time. There was deep hurt in her eyes. I knew she heard it, but I didn't care. I took the book from her hand, thanked her, and then decisively led Sophia and Ava into the house. Sophia unexpectedly received a phone call. Her face changed, and she hurried outside. Where are you going, Sophia? She mumbled for a long time and didn't say anything. I had a bad feeling. I wanted to follow her out. The next second, I was refused by Sophia. Wait at home. I'll be back soon. I have a personal matter that I might need to take care of. She left in a hurry. She didn't explain any more. I wasn't quite used to it. In my heart, I felt something was wrong. I rushed out in a hurry, but Ava took a look at her phone and instantly stopped me. Lucas, don't go out. She has her own business. You can't always expect her to revolve around you. I was furious. Are you out of your mind? This is a foreign country. It's her first time abroad. What personal business could she possibly have? What if something really happens to her? Who can help her? Moreover, we've always known each other's affairs. It's impossible for her to go and handle a personal matter without telling me. Ava was stunned for a moment, and her face also changed. Wait here, I'll go find her. I originally wanted to follow, but Ava locked me in the house. At this moment, I couldn't even open the door, let alone follow her out. Damn it, I cursed angrily. And the unease in my heart grew stronger. Just as I was anxiously waiting for someone to come back, the phone rang. It was a strange number, but I quickly answered it. I was afraid that this number had something to do with Sophia. Sure enough, I guessed right. Ethan, are you crazy? I couldn't help but curse. Ethan's voice was so frantic that it made me feel extremely flustered. He said, I'm not crazy. I just want to make a deal with you. I'll give this person back to you. Can you give Ava back to me? I found it a bit ridiculous. I pursed my lips, but couldn't laugh. I didn't steal your Ava. If you want to find her, shouldn't you just look for her directly? Ethan finally got angry at this moment. Do you think I don't want to find Ava directly? I can't find her at all. You're very proud, aren't you? Do you think you've won against me? In your dreams, I couldn't help but curse again. I hurriedly asked for the location. After learning the specific location of the other party, I slammed the door hard. When my eyes landed on the window, I had an idea. I quickly tied the bedsheet by the window and threw it down. I climbed down the bedsheet bit by bit, but in the end, I was still a bit off and I fell down. Fortunately, I wasn't too badly injured. I stumbled to the destination, but at this moment, I also saw Ava. Lucas, why are you here? Her face changed and she asked in a hurry. She came up and tried to help me back. Get out of the way. I have to save Sophia, that crazy person in your family. What if something really happens to Sophia? Ava, if something happens to Sophia, I will never forgive you for the rest of my life, I said angrily. Ava was obviously shocked by my words. She took several steps back and looked a bit embarrassed. I'll take you there. He sent me a message. I let out a sigh of relief and followed closely behind Ava. Seeing Ava coming with me, Ethan was obviously more stimulated. There was anger in his eyes and his voice was full of dissatisfaction. Ava, how could you come all the way to find him? He's a jerk, a mistress. He should go to hell. While going crazy, he was completely deranged. He slashed a knife across Sophia's face. My face changed and I looked at Ethan coldly. What do you want? He laughed, and his laugh was eerie. Ava, do you think those two are in love? Sophia went to the trap alone, at the fastest speed for Lucas's nude photos. Even though you locked Lucas up, when he learned that Sophia was with me, he still chose to jump out of the window to save her. Don't you think it's real? It's highly inappropriate for you two to butt in on such a touching love story. Only the two of us should be together and are the most compatible. Ava gave Ethan a look of disgust. Do you think I can still be with you after what you've done? It's already good that I haven't held you accountable. You still want me to be with you in your dreams. I was taken aback for a moment. I didn't know anything about what happened between the two of them. At this moment, Ethan became furious. Out of shame, he sneered. Since I can't have it, then I won't let Lucas have it either. I had a bad premonition in my heart. Sure enough, the next moment, Ethan's knife stabbed straight at me. Just before getting injured, a great force protected me in its embrace. There was a muffled groan, and then came Ethan's panicked appearance as he ran away. He couldn't help mumbling, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I didn't want to kill you. I just wanted Lucas to pay the price." He ran away in a hurry. I looked at Ava. Blood had already soaked through her back, and I was a bit panicked. My hands were shaking, and my voice was also filled with panic. Ava, hold on. I'll take you to the hospital. With Sophia's help, I finally managed to send her to the emergency room. 8 hours seemed like a long lifetime. Finally, the doctor came out. The surgery was successful, but she's still not out of danger. We'll observe her tonight. I instantly let out a sigh of relief, but my heart still didn't settle down. In the hospital ward, I took care of Ava. She smiled. Sophia stopped me and asked me to go out first. I didn't know what Sophia and Ava were talking about inside. It seemed extremely quiet. When I went back, the two of them had restored a harmonious atmosphere. I was confused, but no matter how much I asked, they didn't seem to want to speak. I don't know how long it took, but Ava said, "Lucas, when I'm healed, I'll go back. I probably won't appear in front of you again in the future." I was slightly stunned, and my eyes showed some surprise. Sophia smiled and put her hand on my shoulder. "Aren't you satisfied with this?" I nodded in a daze and stammered, "Satisfied, but I'm just curious. Why did she agree?" Sophia smiled mysteriously. "It's a secret." I didn't ask any more. Ava, beside me, gave a bitter smile and didn't say a word from beginning to end. She just looked at me with deep affection, and the reluctance in her eyes seemed to be almost tangible. I tried my best to ignore her gaze. Such a look was really unbearable. I took care of her with all my heart. On the day Ava was discharged from the hospital, she really left. "Can I have a hug?" I didn't refuse. I took a step forward and actively reached out to hug her. "I wish you happiness." Ava's murmur came to my ear. When I came to my senses, she had already walked far away. Sophia looked at me in confusion. "Sophia, we will all be happy in the future." I said this solemnly and forcefully. Sophia finally smiled. "Yes, we will all be happy." 3 years passed. I returned to my hometown where I was born and raised. I saw Ava standing far outside the airport, staring intently in my direction but with no intention of coming forward to disturb me. I let out a sigh of relief. Fortunately, I don't have to deal with her anymore. I specifically inquired about Ethan's fate. It turned out that after hurting someone, he fled back to the country. He lived a life of hiding every day. Later, he was caught, and because of his mental problems, Ethan was admitted to a mental hospital to prevent him from coming out to harm people again. Ava sent people to keep an eye on him. Whenever he made any improper moves, he would be stopped by Ava's people. Ava sent me a message. In the future, your life will be even better. No one will bother you anymore. I smiled. I stepped on the unknown journey and moved forward. My future was bright and happy. As for the people and things, in the past, they were like two parallel lines and would never intersect.